Are you guys ready for some fun?
I love it.
It's going to be good. All right,
we're having fun.
You've been having fun the whole time.
You guys haven't?
Yeah, no, we've been having a great time. Let's start our top takes, and this is a special one. We are looking at Slack, and that's all we're going to talk about. Slack is going to be all of our top takes. Rick, we get to start with you. What is your top take on Slack?
Well, you guys know that Slack is my favorite thing in the world. I'm on there all day long. No, for people who don't get this, there's kind of an inside joke here is that everybody knows about stuff they're talking about on Slack, and I'm always out of the loop because I'm never on Slack.
Me too.
You too?
Yeah.
Good. So you and I are actually doing productive stuff and not wasting our time on Slack. I guess it's a useful complement to email. I'm not sure it's completely necessary. I mean, I do see some usefulness in it as a user. One thing that I do give the company credit for is when you think about all the big companies that supply software to enterprise, the whole enterprise area, which is Microsoft, Oracle, Salesforce, on and on and on, Amazon Web Services, and none of them came up with this idea. And this was actually a failed video game company that I guess developed this tool internally for their own use and decided this was going to be their business.
Yep.
So I'm impressed that they could actually compete with the big guys and make inroads on this.
But do you think Slack is good?
It's okay.
It's okay.
I mean, it's a time suck.
But isn't
It is a
better
time
than,
suck.
Yeah.
It is
isn't
a
it better
goof
than
around.
email?
It is a goof around tool.
Okay. So you are not really on Slack.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm on it. I use it.
I'm on it more than you.
I'm just astonished at the
But
amount of time
Myles
wasting.
is on it more than both of us
That's right.
combined.
That's right.
I mean,
And Myles knows everything.
This is
Myles knows everything.
This is like your baby
I
going out into a direct list.
I noticed that Myles is always here when I leave at the end of the day.
He's
still working.
slacking?
I don't know what he's doing.
He's slacking.
I don't know what he's doing.
So do you think Slack is good?
Good is, I'll say this. I think Slack has been very effective at making companies integrate work more seamlessly into the lives of their employees. I think
that can't be good.
So I think that's good for the business. But
Yeah.
I mean, good, am I glad that Slack is now the second most used app on my phone behind Twitter? And Twitter is something that I'm just doing idly, which means Slack is basically the one app I'm engaging with the most. I'm actually inputting things into it. I don't know if it's good, but I know that it has definitely worked. And I think that when you look at the way email has kind of evolved societally, right? I think a lot of people are very adept, as we were just discussing with Rick during the break, of cleaning out their emails, getting rid of emails, missing emails, because you know what? Nothing good happens in an email chain. You get stuck in a hellhole of an email chain, something is going wrong. We've all seen reply all disasters happen. I think the way that we value email or have devalued email has allowed Slack to come into the workspace, right? I mean, I think it is surprising to me that working at a company that's owned by Verizon, we're not on the Microsoft Office suite, that we're not part of Teams and Outlook and all that stuff. But I think the way that GDocs has changed the possibilities for enterprises, we're on Google Suite here, and then the way that Slack comes in and augments a lot of those areas shows why the SaaS names have been so exciting. There's a huge opportunity in generic workforces, generic workplaces, which I think Verizon Media would count as one that can be digitized. And I think that this is just the beginning of that. And why is Okta valued so highly? It's because we don't even know the companies out there that need that kind of service. And I think that Slack's pitch to companies has been and will continue to be, if you want people to be paying attention to work all the time, get them on Slack. Now, interestingly enough, I remember Melody Hom talking about this. Slack has the time at their offices, at Slack's offices, that's like a turn off the computer time, because they know what it's done to people. But here at Yahoo Finance, we don't have a turn off the Slack time.
Well, I do.
Well, Rick does, but it's not like a mandated.
Most of the time.
Let's have a mandate.
So I wouldn't say it's good. I would say it's an amazing product that has changed the way workforces are integrating to their employees' lives. But I don't know if that's good. Good for Slack, but maybe not societally good. I don't feel better because I use Slack.
Here's what I want to raise for my top take. So this is a direct listing. And part of a direct listing is there's no dilution and that there's no lockup. So if you worked for Slack, I've been trying to think, would I sell shares today?
Some.
So would you be selling? And I actually decided, I don't work for Slack and I own no Slack, that I would not sell. And then what that means if you would not sell, because, and the reason I wouldn't sell is just because I think the market is
Going higher.
poised here to go higher, what we've seen with IPO, so I would hold on to it. So I actually think there is a synthetic lockup almost on Slack shares if other employees are acting as I am. And I'm curious if you guys would also, you think you'd take a little off the table?
Yeah, absolutely. I would sell some and hold some. And I mean, look, what's the barrier to entry to compete against Slack? It's probably not that high for
I think
companies
it's
like Google.
high.
Come on. I mean, Google is the big suppliers that are already have these companies as customers. I mean, they can say, hey, don't get Slack. We're gonna just give you that for free. We'll give you the same thing for free. I mean, I don't see that it's
Google's
that hard to imitate.
got the government breathing down them, and we're all worried about different organizations having our stuff. I mean, I think there's some beauty in having something that's separate in a way. But I mean, I get it. Like, yeah, maybe Google.
However, you can see the big suppliers saying we're going to make it worth your while. I mean, we're just going to undercut Slack.
I think if that was going to happen, it would have happened.
Myles is not going to
Really?
give up Slack.
I mean, no,
I think Slack has just blindsided these other big suppliers. I mean,
it's over, and so it's over. Like I think if there's a market opportunity,
well, they've only got what's their penetration is less than 10%, right?
Right, but I'm saying that the enterprises that it actually gets into, the way that Slack manages to integrate itself within your corporate culture, the speed with which I've seen it happen at multiple organizations is pretty stunning, and so I think that's kind of the bull case for the company. Now, if I worked at Slack and I had a bunch, I don't think you want to have like 90% of your net worth in any one thing. So you got to sell some of your shares, but I don't think that has to be a judgment on where the stock goes. So anyway, just a little prudent like planning.